Because to me, anti-Muslim sentiment is just symptomatic of a deeply entrenched anti-blackness that the country is built off of. And if people have to understand anything, and they're trying to understand how to break this down, they gotta know where it's coming from.
Today is the last day of Ramadan, which is the holiest month of the year in Islam. I wanted to find out more about what it's like to be a Muslim in America in 2019, how different Muslims celebrate the holiday, and how Islam is represented in pop culture.
I'm Wayno, a father, a son, a friend. You might know me from Everyday Struggle. My host here.
The set that we're sitting on right now.
Absolutely, I'm actually home. You in my house today?
Yes. Multifaceted guy, father, son. Also Muslim man.
Muslim, absolutely. Yeah, if a random person did see me, or like, I don't think that they would believe I was Muslim. Like most of the times when I'm having a conversation and I say to a person, religion comes up and I say I'm a Muslim, they're usually shocked.
People are generally surprised.
Yeah, they're generally surprised about it. I actually didn't grow up Muslim. Like my mom's side of the family was Hebrew. So when I was a kid, I used to wear a yarmulke and I used to go to synagogue.
How did you gravitate towards Islam?
It kind of came through like me working in entertainment and being in music. I worked at Rockefeller Records. When I started to learn about Islam, I was an assistant A&R and I was assigned, state property, which out of the 7 members, 6 of them are Muslim. So I spent a lot of time around Beanie Siegel, spent a lot of time around like Neef specifically, and I learned a lot about brother and sisterhood and just camaraderie.
Do you feel like that was a life-altering moment for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt different. The thing about Islam, what it did for me is like, it just sharpened me as a person. Like, I joined gangs when I was younger. I did a lot of different things. I didn't grow up with my father in the household. I didn't have an older brother that I could defer to when I wanted, questions, or if I needed somebody to help me out. So I did a lot of searching on my own, and it ultimately led me to Islam. Bella
Hadid, DJ Khaled, French Montana, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are all prominent people among many who practice and follow Islam. In fact, over 1/5 of the entire world is Muslim.
When you look at mainstream American culture, you have people like Dave Chappelle, who's a Muslim. People like Hakeem Olajuwon is Muslim. Ibtihaj Muhammad just won an Olympic medal for the United States. She's a Muslim. You have people like Hassan Minhaj, who are now well-known comedians.
Beanie Siegel, Neef, again from the Young Guns, Freeway, Tone Trump. I speak on Dave East. I took him to take a shahada. I used to manage him. So I took him to become Muslim. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this, but Moneybagg Yo.
Moneybagg Yo is Muslim.
Yeah, Moneybagg Yo is Muslim. I actually seen him and Kevin Gates. I remember Kevin Gates gave Moneybagg Yo his shahada. I met Kevin Gates one time. I walked up to him and I told him, I said, Assalamu alaikum, and he grabbed me and hugged me. Like, he just embraced me like you'd have thought he knew me for 20 years, So there is a bit of camaraderie amongst Muslims and hip hop.
So much of where hip hop starts and just what its elements are rooted in a lot of spiritual and social justice traditions that stem from Islam. It's hard to separate the two, and it's deeply embedded within the fabric of both, especially in terms of Black experience in the United States.
Again, we spoke about this earlier. When a person sees me on the surface, you might not see that. I don't always wear thobe. I don't wear kufi at all times. So I've never dealt with like people following me around or treating me a certain way. But I have friends that have gone through that. Like, I have friends that are, Egyptian. Like, one of my best friends, he had an FBI agent follow him before. He had an FBI agent ask him to wear a wire. All types of crazy stuff just to tape some dudes that were doing nothing but just speaking.
This wasn't just a random one-time thing. After 9/11, federal law enforcement agencies embarked on a sweeping surveillance of Muslims across the country. So much so that it's even referenced in Hulu's new hit show, Rami.
How's your Ramadan?
Honestly, it's not really been that great. It's been...
We're good, bro. All right?
What was that?
Dude's Dominican. straight up Dominican. FBI is not even trying anymore.
In New York, the NYPD took this to a whole different level with an expansive surveillance program of Muslims. The purpose, according to law enforcement, was finding and disrupting radical cells. Basically, cops kept tabs on mosques, Muslim neighborhoods, and other community areas, encouraging Muslims to spy on each other and even infiltrating mosques with undercover agents. Then, after years of spying illegally, the NYPD admitted that not one single investigation or lead was generated, so it was basically all for nothing.
So when did you first start working with the NYPD?
I started working for the NYPD in April of 2007. It was then revealed that the NYPD was engaging in acts of surveillance of Muslim communities in New York, in New Jersey, in Connecticut. Of those, they were also engaging in surveillance of university-based organizations. And it came out that one of the spaces they were doing that was at New York University, where I work. On a personal level, I've worked for the NYPD for 11 years. Beyond my work there, I've engaged in a lot of different forums with recognized people. I've spoken alongside Pope Francis and the Dalai Lama. I've been interviewed by all kinds of media, Stephen Colbert and Katie Couric, and been on the cover of Newsweek magazine and gotten a lot of awards and things. I've still had the FBI visit me in my house. And, the first time they showed up, we were sitting in the living room of my apartment, and they started asking me all kinds of questions about different people who were at our center at NYU, fishing for different things. The next morning, I walked to my car, and the same two agents were standing at the car waiting for me. They asked me to go to a federal building with them, which I said, there's no way I'm going to a federal building with you. They followed me to my office and ended up sitting with me for about 3 hours. But now the conversation was just directly focused on me. And they said, you're just too good to be true. Know that we're watching you. And the frustrating thing isn't that you're going through it, but what can you really do about it?
It's really tough sometimes how Islam is viewed in this country, because media and Hollywood always pushes a narrative of the person that's blowing stuff up or attacking people is this type of person. The reason why there's a thing with Islamophobia is because people don't understand, because it's not a common thing to American people. When a lot of people learn about Islam, they're kind of astounded that it's very peaceful.
I worked as an inspector in the NYPD. On the 9th anniversary of the attacks, Vice President Biden was there. 3 men in suits approached me, and they say Secret Service has spotted you from the top of a building. They want us to check your credentials just in case. And to understand what they're questioning in that moment is not merely the validity of my physical presence at that location, but the entire validity of my emotions attached to it. And I'm saying this to you as somebody who has been surveilled, profiled, detained, not as a side, but as an important point going through all of that. I still can't tell you what it's like to be a black person living in this country. And that's something that I think has to be understood, because to me, anti-Muslim sentiment is just symptomatic of a deeply entrenched anti-blackness that the country is built off of. And if people have to understand anything, and they're trying to understand how to break this down, they got to know where it's coming from.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Talk to me about the time of year that we are in. This is a time of year that's very important for Muslim people. Tell us about it.
Well, right now it's the holy month of Ramadan. It's just a month of observance. It's a month of observance for the faith, and a month for you to get more in tune with your faith, to read Quran more. There's no consumption of anything until the sun goes down. But no eating, no drinking, no sex. That's why Ramadan is so important to me, because it's just a time to not eating makes you think, and not just only think about eating, but not eating or drinking makes you, it makes my mind wander. It makes my mind a little bit sharper, and the first bite I get of the day is amazing, but I ask for guidance and I ask for forgiveness. I don't ask for things. I don't ask for items. I just ask for guidance and forgiveness. And I'm thankful that I'm able to wake up and ask for these things. And I pray for people I don't know. You know, I pray for people I love. I pray for you. Like, you know what I mean? Seriously.
Appreciate that.
But that's what Ramadan is about.
Talk to me about why this time of year is important.
Like you can see, it brings everybody together, man. There's probably, who knows, an infinite number of ethnicities in the room right now. And what's going on in America, like this is kind of like the opposite of what's happening in America. You got everybody here, every social economic class, every borough, you got everyone here. And that's when I think one of the most important things about Ramadan is like, we're able to tie into a meta narrative of belief, our focus on being good people, and kind of like drop all the identity politics that's kind of eroded in America, and just like be together on a spiritual vibe. That's one thing that's very important.
What do you encourage those who don't know about Islam? How can people be more welcoming of Muslim people?
The way I think society can become better is first off, taking a little bit of a look in the mirror. To become a little bit more understanding of Islam is just ask questions. Like if you ask a Muslim person a question, they're not gonna bite your hand off. Masjids are very welcoming. You can go there, and if you don't know anything, you could go and ask an imam. You know, you can ask an imam about Islam. You know, and you don't have to be going in there to want to take your shahada and become Muslim. But I think acquire the knowledge. You know, I think that knowledge is the only currency that we cannot be taxed on. And if you have that, then you're golden. But if you don't acquire knowledge, then you just lost.
It's 4:12? I am getting lunch yet. I'm hungry right now.
You hung.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My fault.
Make sure this is in the behind the scenes.
My bad. I ain't even think.